Good morning. Today we'll be talking about emotional overeating. When food becomes your coping mechanism, that is called as emotional overeating. So now you know that emotional overeating is not about the hunger. It's all about your unprocessed emotions that is stayed back within you and you have not let it out yet. Your stress, anxiety, loneliness, your heartbreaks, your pressure to perform well, all of these creates emotional discomfort. And the brain, which is smart but lazy, looks for the fastest relief, that is food. Especially sugar becomes easier escape. So what sugar does it basically spikes your dopamine, which is the feel good hormone. For a moment you feel safe, you feel comforted. But that relief is temporary. Once those spikes drop, your guilt will start again. Then shame, then stress. This is a toxic cycle that repeats itself. So why does stress make you crave sugar? And that too specifically sugar. So basically, under stress, your body will release a cortisol. What is cortisol? It basically increases your appetite. It pushes cravings towards the quick energy food, like sugar, carbs, junk. It even makes the self control weaker. So when you're emotionally drained, it's not that you are weak, your nervous system is just overloaded. And that's why people often say, I don't even enjoy it, I'm just like eating, I'm just stuffing myself with so much food, because the eating that they're doing is not because of its taste or the quantity, it's about the numbing. Let me talk about a silent pattern that a lot of people miss and a lot of people don't even talk about. Emotional overeating usually looks like this. You're not hungry, but you're restless. You eat too quickly without even awareness. You don't stop eating even when you're full. You always feel worse after eating, but not better. Instead of asking, why am I eating? You always say, what is wrong with me? Which is the wrong way to question. And this question keeps people stuck. Now, let me tell you my experience. I was a big sugar eater. I've already told you in so many other videos. You can check out all my videos as well. It's all informative, it's all going to help you in your fat loss journey. And I also talk about mindset. So, I made this video where I talk about my books, all the books that I read to keep my mind stable and calm and keep it powerful and working always for me. Okay, so I was talking about my experience where I ate a lot of sugar. Now, once I was aware that I'm eating a lot of sugar and this is not going to benefit my body in any way, shape, or form, because the end goal of us is to stay healthy, to stay fit for on a longer run. We're not talking for now, we're talking on a longer run. We are seeing the bigger picture. I thought, okay, let's quit this. I think um, I wasn't even eating because I get to eat. I was eating because, oh, I can eat. Like, I wasn't even aware how much I was eating. And that is when I thought, let's stop sugar. We're not doing sugar anymore. So, when I say I quit sugar, I did not just quit sugar. I just broke the psychological dependency. I challenged myself. I not give punishment to myself, but I made myself aware that sugar is not going to benefit me. It's just going to add more fat to my body, which will be harder to reduce, right? At the end of the day, I want to reduce those fat. I want to become fitter, I want to become thin, I want to become stronger. That's the point, and sugar is not going to add to it in any way, shape, or form. And I removed sugar for so long that my brain had to reset its reward system. So every time I used to feel like, oh, I achieved this, I did this, I was like, let's eat sugar, let's eat it's also very common in Indian household. So if you get good marks, what do your parents do? They bring sweets home, they share sweets to everybody else, to neighbors, to your family and everybody else. So that reward system needs to be removed. Why not eat protein or eat a paneer burji with one roti instead of sugar? Just showing how badly it is affecting your psychological dependency. You're more dependent on the sugar now. It should change. It should change. Why not, if you get good grades, go join a aerobics class? Why not go get a gym membership? Why not do strength training? And the most important part that I thought, which is a win-win for me, is, I even forgot that there is sugar in my home, which was amazing. I'd not even feel the need of it anymore. And that is massive, right? That's the difference between craving driven living and conscious choices, awareness, and being very conscious about what you're eating, what's in your plate. And yesterday I ate sugar again and I ate it in moderation. I'd not feel the need to like eat it again. I don't feel like eating sugar now. Yesterday I added it because I was making something and it needed a little bit of sugar, I'm not punishing myself, like I told. I'm very aware of my choices and I'm eating it consciously in moderation. So I'm not punishing myself that way. But I think I quit sugar for like a month or two, and I'm really happy about it. And the thing that happens, somebody told this to me, if you quit sugar, you also start seeing changes. Your puffiness in your face starts to get reduced, your double chin gets reduced. You start becoming better in all terms, in physical, mental, all terms. Like that, it becomes a moderation, not a restriction. It's just that you have the freedom, but you're choosing not to. If you keep that mindset, trust me, your fat loss is going to be so much more easier. Now let's talk about why cutting it out actually works. It's very contrary to the popular advices that you usually hear. People say don't restrict, eat in moderation. What does that mean? But in case of emotional overeaters, moderation comes first after awareness, and that does not happen before. So by completely stepping away, you basically detach emotion from food. You also learn what actual hunger feels like again, and you'll stop associating sugar with the comfort. And once this emotional attachments become detached or it breaks, moderation become natural. It comes to you naturally. It won't be forced at all. And that is exactly what happened with me. It was not forced, it was something moderation that came into me naturally. Now emotional eating is not a food problem. Now though you have understood that, right? By everything that I told, you have understood that it's a regulation problem. Your food becomes your regulator when you don't feel safe expressing your emotions. You're constantly pushing yourself and you're mentally exhausted. You are also avoiding sitting with your discomfort. Let me tell you, if you sit with your discomfort, there are so many things that already gets resolved over there. And healing your emotional overeating is not about your willpower. It's about learning new ways to soothe yourself. I'm also going to tell you what actually helps and what has helped me. So there's this techniques that a lot of people have studied on. They've made this, worldwide popular, but I still wonder how a lot of people don't know about this. I didn't know about this until I wanted to stop eating sugar. I wanted to do my fat loss journey. Until then, even I did not realize. But I want you all to know through this video. First one would be pause before eating. I'm hungry. Okay, let me just drink a glass of water. Let me wait for 5 minutes. If I still feel like eating, I will absolutely eat it. So you'll know that if you're actually hungry or you're overwhelmed. And start naming your emotions. Stress will basically lose its power when you start giving it names. Delay it, but don't deny it. Give yourself 10 minutes to check in. Like I told you, give yourself 10 minutes after drinking water. But if you're feeling hungry, I don't mean for you all to stop eating at all. I want you all to eat. But after 10 minutes, if you're still feeling hungry, it means you're actually hungry. So eat it. Replace those comforts, like eating junk food is your comfort, then replace it with a run, a walk, a shower, a music, you can do paintings, you can anything that is your passion, reward it with that. Remove guilt. Basically, guilt will fuel your body so much more than sugar ever did. So remove guilt. And the shift that changes everything is here now. When food starts becoming emotional to you, it's just food. It's not your comfort, it's not your punishment, it's not your guilt, it's not your escape. It's just food. You just eat it. Just fuel, just enjoyment. But once you start being self aware, once you start controlling yourself, you're in your own control, you start realizing that food is actually a fuel. Yes, that is right. But in a way, if you take it in moderation, let me explain this concept. It's very interesting. I just saw this yesterday. Imagine you have 2 rupees. I give you 2 rupees, and you need 2 rupees for your body. You use 2 rupees. If I give you 5 rupees, you need only 2 rupees. You're going to use 2 rupees and store 3 rupees with you. You're going, if your brain is smart, you're going to invest it somewhere, somewhere like your muscle or anything. But if it's not, it'll store as fat. So workouts are also very important. And I've already told you my story, so I think this could be a wake up call to stop eating emotionally and start eating when required. Listen to your body. Don't listen when it says I need sugar, but listen to your body. If it says I'm hungry, only then eat. A lot of people say eat 2 times a day, eat 1 time a day. I have also told that, but I was only trying, and I gave you that disclaimer as well. Eat and listen to your body. I think that is the best guide you can ever ask for. So yeah, that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video if it will help anybody else. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.